In this video, I'm gonna show you how we can create this colorful lighting effect using Photoshop. So let's get started. Hey, what's up guys, Dhruval here, and as you can see, this is the final output. Now for this tutorial, I'm gonna use this photo that I found on devantart.com, and if you want to use the same photo, the download link is in video description, so feel free to use it. And just letting you know that if you want to apply the same effect on a photo without a globe, just floating hands, you can still do it. It works pretty good, just letting you know. So now let's go back and look at the final output once more. So this is the final output and this is the original photo. You can go to file menu and open any image you like. Now first thing we will do as always is double click here and unlock the background. Then we will select the crop tool from here, and then I'm gonna remove this portion from here so it looks better in proportion, and we will remove the watermark and a little bit on the top, so that looks good. Then you can go and confirm it. So now it looks better. Now the image is very bright for lighting effects, so I'm gonna make it darker, and to do that you go to your adjustment layer and you select curves, and in the curves you go and click on the middle point and you make it darker. I think this is enough dark. Yeah, that's looking really good, and close it. Now I don't want the darkness on her face and a little bit on her body here and on her arms. So to remove that, select your brush tool here and make sure your opacity is 100% and your color is black, and select your layer mask here. And then I'm gonna go and remove it from her face and a little bit from her body, and also make sure your hardness is 0%, so you have really soft brush. So remove it from here and there, just like that. And now we have painted outside a little bit, so I'm gonna go and change the color to white, and I will paint it back so it doesn't look very bad. So let's turn it on and off now. So that is looking pretty decent, to be honest. Now we have made it enough dark, and it's time to make it a little bit bright on the face and hands. So to do that, again go to your adjustment layer and the same select curves, but this time I will make it brighter a little bit, something like that. That's more than enough, I guess. Yeah, that looks good. Now I don't want on the outside, I only want on her face. So just like I have selected my mask, and black color will remove. So I'm gonna go and select my black color and I will remove it from the outside. But and I'm also using like my bracket keys to make it bigger and smaller. It saves a lot of time, nothing else. And as always, my brush is really soft, so that is looking really good. So now if we turn it on and off, only the body is bright. So the setup is ready, and now we can start working on the lighting effect. And the first thing I want to create is the lightning. So to do that, you go here and you create a new blank layer from here, and then you go to filter, where is it, render, and there first thing you can select is cloud. Once your cloud is ready, then you again go to filter, you go to render, and this time you click on difference clouds. So you will have a pattern something like this. Now I only want this effect on the globe, so I'm gonna go and reduce the opacity to somewhere around like 50% so we can see the rest of the area. Then I'm gonna select my eraser tool and make sure it's 0% hard, and then I will remove it from the unnecessary area where I don't need it. After that, make sure you have selected your layer, the one with the lightning. Then you press Ctrl I. So we have colors inverted, and then you go to image, adjustment, and you go to levels. And here you go and push your levels on this side. As you can see, like this. The mid tone should be near to your right side. So that is looking decent. Now I'm gonna go and hit OK. Now we can see that we forgot to erase it from some areas, so I will just patch it up. Now as you can see, the lightning is looking really good, but we can go and change the blending mode to lighten so it blends even better with the globe. So it's looking good, and now you have to make a copy of it. So you go and press Ctrl J. So we have a copy of it, and then you press Ctrl T, and you can rotate it just like this from the corner. And I'm gonna put it here like this, and I'm also gonna make it smaller. So hold your shift key and make it smaller like this, and then put it here somewhere around this. Confirm it from here, and this time I'm gonna keep its opacity to 34, but the original layer that we created, the bigger one, I'm gonna go and increase its opacity to somewhere around, let's say 100%. Yeah, that looks good. Or maybe somewhere around 85, 86%. Yeah, so 80% looks nice. So the original layer is at 80% opacity, and the copy we created, that is as 34%. So it gives it little bit depth, nothing else. So now the lightning is ready, and we can add in the glow. So to do that, go and create a new blank layer from here. Select your paint bucket tool, right click here and select paint bucket, and make sure your color here is black, and I'm gonna go and fill it. After that, go to filter, render, and go and select a lens flare. Now first lens flare is going to be 105 mm prime, and I'm gonna put it somewhere around here. Or you can also go with 35 mm, whatever you like. So let's try 35 for the tutorial. So this one looks better. Hit OK. Now go and change its blending mode to screen. Then I will press Ctrl T, and I'm gonna move it here like this. And then again I'm gonna hold my shift key and make it a bit smaller, because I don't want it to be outside too much. A little bit more smaller. So that is looking really good. Then I'm gonna go and confirm it. After that, you go to filter, blur, and go to Gaussian blur, and give it enough blur so outside edges are really soft and fading good. So somewhere around yeah, 40% looks really nice, and I'm gonna go and hit OK. After that, you do the same process. You go and create a new blank layer from here, bucket tool, black color, fill it, and then you go to filter, render, lens flare, and this time we select movie prime, because it has really funky details that look really good. And also increase the brightness, because the default one is low. So I think 150 around is good. Hit OK. Then again change the blending mode to screen, press Ctrl T, so we have the transform option, and we go and put it here. Now it is obviously really large, so I'm gonna hold my shift key, and I will make it smaller from here, and then put it here a little bit more, and then go and confirm it. So as you can see, the glow is already looking really nice. Now after this, I think my background is not dark enough, so I'm gonna select my dark layer. As you can see here, I will double click here, and I will make it a little bit more darker. So I think that looks even better, and close it. So now we can continue the effect. Now it's time to add in some color in our lens flare. So to do that, I'm gonna go and create a new adjustment layer, and I will select hue saturation. And the first thing I will do is turn on the clipping mask. So now this hue saturation will only affect the layer 3. Then I'm gonna go and change its color to somewhere around that I want, and increase the saturation. So whatever color is your favorite, you go and select it, just simple as that. So I think magenta is my favorite one, so I'm gonna go and select that one, and then go and close it. You can also increase the lightness a little bit, but then you will have to remove the outside area. So let's say if you remove the lightness, you like that part, okay? So you go and close it, then you simply take the eraser, make it bigger, and then I'm gonna go select this layer, and then I'm gonna go and remove it. See, it's simple as that. So you can increase the lightness just if you like it, not a big deal. And I think my glow is a bit bigger, so I'm gonna make it smaller. So press Ctrl T, hold your shift key, and make it a touch smaller. And I'm gonna move it here and confirm it. Perfect. Now let's continue on the effect. So I'm gonna go and create a new adjustment layer, and select levels, and make sure my levels in top of everything. And then I'm gonna go and make it a bit more contrasty, just like this. Now I'm only focusing on my globe. I will remove it from the rest of the image. I only want this on my globe. So I'm gonna make it a bit more contrasty. Yeah, so that looks really nice. Go and close it. And just like every time, select your brush tool. Make sure color is black, opacity 100%. Make your brush bigger, and I will remove it from the unnecessary area like that. So if we turn it on and off, as you can see, it gives it really nice contrast. Now it's time to create the lighting rays, and to do that, first thing you do is you go and create a new blank layer from here like that. Then you select your gradient tool, you right click here and you select gradient. Go and select your gradient, and here in the gradient type, instead of solid, you select noise. So you will have this really funny looking gradient. After that, you can click on randomize and wait for the color that you like. So for me, I like the little bit shade of magenta here, and the yellow is going really good. So I'm gonna go and keep this one, and then I'm gonna go and hit OK. After that, here on the gradient style, make sure you have selected this third one. That is important. After that, you click here and you drag it. So you have your lightning rays, sort of. If we will make it lightning rays, don't worry. And then you can go and reduce the opacity to have an idea like what kind of it looks. If you are not happy, you can go back, randomize it, change it. However, I'm gonna keep it. So go and hit OK. Now we will apply a layer mask. So go and click on this third option here. So we have a layer mask. Now make sure that you have selected your layer mask here, and again we have this gradient here, and in the gradient this time you go and select your simple gradient, this one, foreground to background, and to make sure you have this one, you make sure your color are here black and white. So we have foreground to background, hit OK. And after that, you also have to make sure that in your gradient style you have this second one, as you can see here, this. And then also make sure you have selected your layer mask, and then you go and you drag it a little bit like this. Now if something like this happens, your gradient is inverted. So you click on this reverse option, and then you again do it. See, now this time it's working properly. So I'm gonna go and try it one more time until I get the output that I like. So this is looking really good, and now I can go and make the opacity to 100% and then go and change its blending mode to lighten. So it has started looking really good, but we can make it better. And to do that, you double click on your layer here. So you will have this blending options, and here you have to hold down your Alt key and you drag this slider to here. Don't forget to hold Alt key, okay? Otherwise it will look weird. So I'm gonna drag it this way here, and again hold your Alt key and I'm gonna drag this slider to here. So we can eliminate as many shapes as possible, and we can keep it simple. So I think this one is looking really good, and then go and hit OK. Now it's looking a little weird because we don't have any color correction. So to do that, you go to your adjustment layer, and first thing we will do is select the curves. And in the curves, just like every time, my favorite, you click a dot here like this. You make it slightly darker, not too much, and then you drag this slider upwards here. So not too much, okay? Keep it a little bit contrasty. So that's looking good. Now here comes the part, it depends on your effect. If you have more red color in your effect, you go to red and then you increase your red a little bit, okay? So that's good. Now secondary color, we have a little bit of magenta. So I'm gonna go to my green and I will add a little bit of magenta. So that is looking good. And we also have slight tint of blue. So I'm gonna go to my blues and I'm gonna add a little bit of blue, but not too much, okay? Be careful, and close it. After that, another adjustment layer. So you go to adjustment layers and select color balance. And just like the last time, what do we have? Majority, we have red. So in the midtones, I will add a little bit of red, but make sure it's not too much, okay? So I think +6. Then in the highlights, a little bit of magenta and a little bit of red. And then you can go to your shadows, and here I'm gonna add a little bit of blue. So we have better contrast, nothing else. So this is looking good, and make sure this thing is checked, otherwise it looks bit dull. This is better, and I'm gonna go and close it. So the final effect is almost ready, but we have to make the edges a little bit darker so we can focus on model better. So go and go to your adjustment layer, and this time I'm gonna go and select, where is it, here, gradient. And in the gradient, make sure you have foreground to transparent and your foreground color is black. I'm gonna go and hit OK, and in the style make it radial, and go and reverse it so we have edges darker. Increase the scaling a little bit, somewhere around 200 250 should be good. Hit OK. Change the blending mode to soft light. Now I don't want it on entire image, right? So again I'm gonna select my brush tool, black color, opacity 100%, and select your layer mask here, and I will make my brush a bit bigger using bracket keys, and I will remove it from the areas where I don't want it. So now if I turn it on and off, we only have it on the edges. I might paint it a little bit here though. Now the final effect is ready, but here's one funny thing you can do. You see your light rays? If you don't like the colors, don't worry. Go and create a new adjustment layer and select hue saturation. But you have to make sure that your hue saturation is on top of your rays, right? Exactly on top. And you go and turn on the clipping mask. So now it will only affect your layer 4. Now go and change your hue, and you have unlimited colors. Use whatever the heck color you like. So see, this is looking pretty cool. And after that, all you have to do is just go and do the adjustment in your color balance, add a bit of a cyan and green, and boom, there you have a completely different effect. Isn't that awesome? That's why I love the adjustment layers. So that's it, and this is the final output. And the awesome thing about this effect is that you can do it 100% inside Photoshop. You don't have to download any brushes or plugins, which is awesome. So I really hope that you guys learned something from this video, and if you did, hit that like button. And if you have any kind of questions or suggestions, feel free to ask me in comment section below. Till then, goodbye, take care, and have some fun with Photoshop.